So this is the news that we bumped right from the top of the show. We got the breaking news about the health care bill dying in Washington. We're continuing to keep an eye on that tonight, but I want to let you know as well that the Wall Street Journal has just reported this evening that a new subpoena has been issued in the investigation into former Trump campaign chair Paul Manafort. This is from Michael Rothfeld at the Journal tonight. The subpoena is from the district attorney's office in Manhattan. It's directed at a small bank in Chicago run by a member of President Trump's economic advisory panel. The subpoena is reportedly seeking information on some gigantic multi-million-dollar loans that tiny bank gave to Paul Manafort in November, the month of the election, and in January, the month of the inauguration. And I say these loans are gigantic in one specific sense. They're gigantic loans when you consider the size of the entity that gave those loans. Apparently, what looks nutty to investigators about these loans is that the $16 million that this little bank gave to Paul Manafort, that $16 million was almost 1/4 of the bank's equity capital. And I don't speak banker either, but what I think that means is that the bank had X amount of money that it could loan out in total in the world. And these loans it gave to Paul Manafort, those loans, that was them loaning him $1 out of every $4 it could loan to anyone in the world. Which means this little bank in Chicago bent over so far backwards to give Paul Manafort money that the dude's head popped out between his knees and he started waving forwards, even though he started off going backwards. $1 out of every $4 that they were able to loan, they loaned to Paul Manafort all at once is when the campaign was. We really don't know what was going on there, but the Journal does raise one interesting prospect in this new report that they have just posted tonight. I'm just quoting from the Journal here. Quote, the bank's loans to Mr. Manafort equaled almost 24% of the bank's reported $67 million of equity capital. Around the time the loans were issued, Mr. Kalk, the leader of the bank, had expressed interest in becoming Mr. Trump's Secretary of the Army. Oh, he wants to be Secretary of the Army, and he's giving these gigantic loans that his bank really cannot afford to the. Steve Kalk is the head of that little bank in Chicago. He did not become Secretary of the Army. Now, was there any connection between him wanting to be Army Secretary and giving those seemingly inexplicable giant loans to Paul Manafort? We have no idea. But the Journal is raising those 2 points together tonight, and they are reporting that the DA's office in Manhattan has subpoenaed this little bank in Chicago for information on those loans. And if you feel like this is a story you've heard before, you have not heard this story before. It's just that it rhymes with a lot of the other stories we have heard about Paul Manafort. For example, in mid-June, we learned that the FBI was looking into Paul Manafort's real estate deals and investments in Southern California. In April, we learned that a federal grand jury had subpoenaed Paul Manafort's bank records from Citizens Bank in Virginia. In March, NBC's Richard Engel reported that the Attorney General of the nation of Cyprus had been asked to hand over information about Paul Manafort's offshore banking activities to investigators at the United States Treasury. And now there is this breaking news tonight. New York prosecutors from the Manhattan DA's office subpoenaing this bank in Chicago run by a Trump campaign advisor that shoveled up to $16 million to Paul Manafort and his wife in November and January. And now apparently the DA wants to know why. And that's all just the law enforcement stuff. We also learned last week in the New York Times, almost in a passing reference, in their big story on the Trump Tower meeting with Donald Trump Jr. and Paul Manafort and Jared Kushner and all those Russians, as a parenthetical reference in that reporting, the Times noted that Paul Manafort had discussed that meeting with congressional investigators. Oh, which means in addition to him handling all of these legal inquiries and subpoenas related to his financial matters, Paul Manafort has also apparently been discussing things with congressional investigators. I didn't know he was talking to them. There was a period of a couple of months between when Paul Manafort said he would register as a foreign agent and the time when he finally did. That meant it was months after a lot of people had assumed he'd already done it when Paul Manafort finally filed as a foreign agent and declared that over a over a 2-year period, he'd been paid nearly $17 million by a political party in Ukraine. those numbers may be starting to look a little hinky as well. Andrew Kramer at the New York Times reported this out from Kiev this weekend. He found that even though Paul Manafort said that he and his firm were paid nearly $17 million from this political party in Ukraine, he found that that political party in Ukraine, which supposedly paid them, they say they didn't spend $17 million on anything. They didn't spend $17 million in total over that same period, not just on him, but on everything that they spent money on combined. In 2012, Manafort says this Ukrainian political party paid him just over $12 million. That same year, this Ukrainian political party says it only spent $11 million on everything it spent money on. The following year, it was worse. Manafort said he received $4.5 million from that party, but the political party says it didn't spend $4 million in total on everything it spent on that year. It's like, you know, showing up and seeing somebody taking off in a private jet and them yelling out the window, yeah, my lemonade stand paid for it. Like, I mean, if he didn't get that $17 million from that political party, and the records say he didn't, then where did he get that $17 million from? I don't know, and neither do you. But you know what? There's another thing here that really does not make sense. And it doesn't make sense in Washington. And that's next. Stay with us.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.